The 20th century had barely begun, and yet the world was already drifting toward one of the darkest passages of its history. Europe smoldered with unrest, empires trembled, ideologies without God advanced like a silent fog, and mankind, dazzled by material progress, began to forget the weight of eternity. It was in that hour of looming war, spiritual confusion, and growing abandonment of God that heaven chose to speak. Not to the powerful, not to the learned, not to rulers and strategists, but to three little children, simple, poor, unknown, hidden among stony hills in a small Portuguese place called Fatima. Portugal, at that time, was living one of its harshest seasons. The monarchy had fallen in 1910, and a republic rose that was fiercely anti-clerical. Churches were closed, religious orders were driven out. Catholic symbols were mocked, priests were watched, the faithful were pressured into silence. The nation was wounded, and many hearts were bewildered. And yet, precisely there, in a land bruised but still profoundly Marian, the Lord permitted a light to descend, a light that would mark the modern world. They were not famous. They were not influential. They had no schooling that would impress the world. They had only what heaven seeks, hearts that are unguarded. Lucia de Jesus, born on March the 22nd, 1907, was the eldest, intelligent, sensitive, with a quiet strength that would one day bear enormous weight. Francisco Marto, born on June 11th, 1908, was silent and contemplative, drawn to prayer like a flame to the altar. Jacinta Marto, born on March 11th, 1910, was small, ardent, and brave, capable of sacrifice beyond her years. 3 shepherd children, 3 hidden souls, 3 instruments chosen to carry a message that would echo through generations. Before the mother spoke, God sent a messenger. In 1916, while they watched their sheep, the children received 3 apparitions of an angel who identified himself as the Angel of Peace and the Angel of Portugal. In the first apparition, the angel taught them a prayer, simple yet piercing, as if heaven itself placed a sword of light into their hands. My God, I believe, I adore, I hope, and I love you. I ask pardon for those who do not believe, do not adore, do not hope, and do not love you. It was the beginning of a heavenly schooling: faith, reparation, love. In the second apparition, the angel urged them to pray still more, to offer sacrifices, to live with seriousness before God. Pray thus: the hearts of Jesus and Mary are attentive to the voice of your supplications. And he taught them that suffering, when offered in love, can become intercession. That the smallest sacrifice carried quietly may hold back darkness and obtain grace. In the third and final apparition, the angel appeared holding a chalice and a host from which drops of blood fell. He prostrated himself to the ground in adoration, and the children, trembling, learned that at the heart of the world there is an altar, and at the heart of the altar there is the wounded love of Christ. They learned, the world's sin is not an idea, it is a wound. And the answer is not noise, not human power, not political triumph, but adoration, reparation, the Eucharist. It was preparation. Heaven was clearing the path. Then came the day, May 13th, 1917. The children were praying the Rosary at the Cova da Iria when they saw what looked like lightning. Thinking rain was coming, they began to gather the flock. But as they drew near a small holm oak, a light unlike any earthly light descended upon the place. And there, above the little tree, they beheld a lady, brighter than the sun, clothed in white, surrounded by a radiance that seemed to come from within her, a rosary in her hands. Lucia asked, "Where are you from?" And the lady answered, "I am from heaven." In that instant, history bent its knee. The lady asked them to return on the 13th of each month for 6 months. She asked for prayer, for penance, for conversion, and she asked with particular insistence for the daily rosary, so that peace might be granted to the world and the war might end. Then she spoke words that would become a covenant. Are you willing to offer yourselves to God, to endure all the sufferings He may send you, as an act of reparation for the sins by which He is offended, and of supplication for the conversion of sinners? The children replied, "Yes, we are willing." And the lady answered, "Then you will have much to suffer, but the grace of God will be your comfort. Thus the mission began, one that would demand endurance, incomprehension, mockery, persecution, and holiness. On June 13, 1917, the Feast of St. Anthony, a crowd already accompanied the children to the Cova da Iria. News of the first apparition had spread quickly. Some came out of curiosity, others out of faith, others with skepticism in their hearts. Heaven was beginning to draw the eyes of the world. Once again, the lady appeared, wrapped in the same gentle yet penetrating light. Lucia asked that Francisco and Jacinta be taken to heaven. The answer was clear and solemn. Francisco and Jacinta I will take soon. You, however, are to remain here some time longer. Jesus wishes to make use of you to make me known and loved. And then the lady opened her hands. Before the children appeared something that would never again leave the memory of the Church. The Immaculate Heart of Mary, surrounded by thorns that seemed to pierce it deeply, as though every sin of humanity were a living wound. My Immaculate Heart will be your refuge and the way that will lead you to God. Here the center of the message was revealed, the heart of Mary as a refuge for troubled times. Jacinta, though still a child, understood this vision profoundly. From that moment on, everything she did was offered to console the heart of Mary, wounded by the sins of the world. Then came July 13th, 1917, one of the most decisive days in the entire history of Marian apparitions. Before a much larger crowd, Our Lady appeared once more. She again asked for prayer, penance, and the daily rosary. Then she opened her hand, and the earth seemed to vanish beneath them. The children were shown a vision of hell, a vast sea of fire, human souls, cries, despair, hideous demons, a suffering eternal and conscious. Jacinta was deeply marked by what she saw. She wept, trembled, and from that day forward offered constant sacrifices so that souls might be saved from that place. After the vision, Our Lady spoke words that still echo through history. You have seen hell where the souls of poor sinners go. To save them, God wishes to establish in the world devotion to my Immaculate Heart. Then she announced future events with striking clarity. The war will end, but if people do not cease offending God, a worse one will begin during the reign of Pius XI. She spoke also of Russia, warning that its errors would spread throughout the world, provoking wars and persecutions against the Church if humanity did not convert. And she made a clear request. To prevent this, I shall come to ask for the consecration of Russia to my Immaculate Heart and the communion of reparation on the first Saturdays. Here was born the most urgent call of Fatima: conversion, penance, and reparation. Before departing, the lady made a promise. In October, I will perform a miracle so that all may believe. On August 13th, 1917, something unexpected happened. The children did not reach the Cova da Iria. They had been arrested by the administrator of Urem, a strongly anti-clerical man who attempted to force them to deny the apparitions. They were threatened, interrogated, separated. At one point, they were even threatened with death. Yet they did not deny a single word. Jacinta wept, but offered everything for the conversion of sinners. Francisco remained silent, praying. Lucia stood firm. Our Lady appeared on August 19th at Valinhos to compensate for their absence. She renewed her request for prayer and penance and reaffirmed the promise of the October miracle. By September 13, 1917, nearly 30,000 people were present. Some witnessed signs in the sky, others perceived fragrances, others felt an inexplicable interior movement. Once again, Our Lady repeated, "Continue to pray the Rosary. In October, our Lord will come, Our Lady of Sorrows, Our Lady of Mount Carmel, and Saint Joseph with the child Jesus." Heaven was preparing something immense. The world was watching. The faithful were waiting. The skeptics mocked. The newspapers announced the event with irony. But heaven does not fail. The promised day finally arrived. October 13th, 1917. From the early hours of the morning, crowds began to gather at the Cova da Iria. A steady rain fell without pause. The ground turned into mud beneath thousands of feet. An estimated 70 to 100,000 people were present. Peasants and scholars, doctors and journalists, believers and skeptics, atheists, and the merely curious. The press was there. Photographers were there. The world was watching. At noon, the children arrived. Lucia asked the people to close their umbrellas and to pray the rosary. The sky remained heavy, thick with dark clouds. Then, for the final time, the lady appeared. She spoke with calm authority. "I want to tell you that a chapel is to be built here in my honor. I am the Lady of the Rosary. Continue always to pray the rosary every day. The war will soon end, and the soldiers will return to their homes." Lucia asked for the promised sign. The lady replied simply, "Look at the sun." The clouds opened. The sun appeared as a dull silver disk, visible to the naked eye. Suddenly it began to spin, casting brilliant colors, yellow, red, blue, violet, across the crowd, the earth, the trees, and the faces of the people. Then the unthinkable occurred. The sun seemed to detach itself from the sky and plunge toward the earth. Cries erupted. People fell to their knees. Others wept openly, confessed their sins aloud, certain that the end of the world had come. After approximately 10 minutes, the sun returned to its place. The rain stopped. Clothes that moments before had been soaked were now completely dry. The miracle was visible from miles away. It was reported even by anti-clerical newspapers. No scientific explanation was ever able to dismiss it. Heaven had spoken, publicly. While the miracle unfolded before the crowd, the children were granted simultaneous visions. They saw Saint Joseph with the child Jesus, blessing the world. They saw Our Lady of Sorrows recalling the Passion of Christ. They saw Our Lady of Mount Carmel holding the scapular, calling souls to consecration. Everything converged toward a single truth: Christ at the center, Mary as the path, the cross as the passage, heaven as the destiny. Not long after the apparitions, the world was struck by the Spanish flu. Francisco Marto fell ill in 1918. He accepted his suffering in silence, offering everything to console our Lord. He died on April 4, 1919, at just 10 years of age. Jacinta Marto endured intense suffering. Hospitalized alone, subjected to painful surgeries without anesthesia, she offered everything for the conversion of sinners and for peace in the world. She died on February 20, 1920, at only 9 years old. Both were beatified in 2000 and canonized on May 13, 2017, exactly 100 years after the first apparition. Lucia, however, remained. She lived many long years as a Carmelite nun, becoming Sister Lucia of Jesus and of the Immaculate Heart. She was the guardian of the message, a silent witness, faithful until the end. She died on February 13, 2005, at the age of 97. Over time, the parts of the secret of Fatima were gradually made known. The third part, published in 2000, described a symbolic vision: a bishop dressed in white, walking through ruins, praying for the dead, until he is struck down. The Church recognized in this vision a prophecy concerning the suffering of the 20th century, and, in a particular way, the assassination attempt against St. John Paul II on May 13, 1981, the anniversary of the first apparition. The Pope himself later said, "It was a mother's hand that guided the bullet's path." In 1984, St. John Paul II consecrated the world, and implicitly Russia, to the Immaculate Heart of Mary. Only a few years later, the Soviet bloc collapsed. Yet Fatima does not belong only to history. Its message is alive. It speaks of prayer when the world grows distracted, of penance when the world seeks comfort, of conversion when sin is relativized, of hope when fear dominates hearts. Our Lady did not come to threaten, she came to save. She did not come to condemn, she came to warn out of love. She did not come to terrify, she came to call. Her request remains simple and urgent. Pray the rosary every day. Do penance, convert, and her promise remains firm. In the end, my Immaculate Heart will triumph. This is not only the story of Fatima. It is a personal call to you. Heaven still speaks. The Mother still calls. The decision is still yours. Heaven asks for prayer. Our Lady asks for the rosary. Do not let this message end here. Pray the Holy Rosary with us. On our channel, you will find a complete rosary, all the mysteries offered for peace, conversion, and reparation. Take this moment, remain in silence, Take the beads in your hands and respond to heaven's call. Subscribe and discover the beauty of the Catholic faith.